Okay, so today I'll do another episode of this sort of Hearthstone chess variant that I created, where it's this Warlock deck that has some of the chess-inspired cards. I guess only the two of them, right? The Wretched Queen and the Malefic Rook or whatever. And they should have the Ignoble Knight. I keep saying as a standalone card would be cool, just whatever. So I could do this theme even better. Or, you know, whenever you have stuff that generates a card, typically you should be able to have that card, unless it's too powerful, right? Like some of the Ysera Dream cards, obviously, originally you couldn't have, although by today's standards it wouldn't even be that big of a deal to have them. But and I think some of them maybe even were added, right? But it's kind of like that one isn't actually that good, the Ignoble Knight. And obviously this takes inspiration maybe from the Karazhan chess event a little bit, right? A sort of in-universe explanation, which a lot of cards in this game over the years they don't have. Like, it'll be generic, right? It won't be like, oh, Goldshire Footman or something like that. It'll just be like, oh, it'll just be a pun sort of card, like, oh, whatever. I don't even know. Like, it'll just be a card. It won't be like a card referencing something, right? Like something in universe, which I always kind of expect and ask for. Where you have so much lore, so much rich stuff to draw from, but instead it says like, I could just look through cards. It won't be Goldshire Footman. It'll just be like Angry Footman or whatever, something like that. For some reason, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but like it'll be a generic thing. It won't be like from, you know, Dalaran Mage or this or that. It'll be just some adjective or something that says like, oh, they're, you know, sneaky this or that, right? Shows you how much I've forgotten a lot of these cards, but you know what I mean? Like, it'll be generic, like, oh, that could be in any game, right? It has nothing to do really with the Warcraft universe. So yeah, I'll do another session of this. I don't know exactly. I like how it's kind of a segue. I was first trying to fix some of the gimmick decks that I had, like the Hunter and the Paladin, but then I got distracted. You know what if I come up with this idea instead? And then I end up doing this, which is fine. Or yeah, like I said, I draw the analogy almost to the Night of the Living Dead with that in PvZ Heroes, obscure reference, but it's kind of like we're getting the Cataclysm. That's kind of cool, actually. I'm somebody who was actually a big fan of what they did with Cataclysm, even though I didn't play in Cataclysm really at all. And in fact, when I went back to retail just to kind of look around, I kind of wanted to see what was different in Cataclysm. But I was a fan of the fact that they did it in such a way that it revamped the old zones, because you might think, oh, for nostalgia purposes or whatever, you want them to stay the same. But imagine if they didn't do that. So what? The world would still be the same now as it was originally? Or like even after 6 expansions, like after 3 expansions, right? It makes sense that you would have some major changes like that. So it's actually a good idea from that perspective. We get this kind of epic music too. I guess you could say it's the Cataclysm of the game itself, though. Like I keep saying, this game should be dead or is dying. Like, who is really taking this game seriously right now in 2026? Like, I get it, but it's just I don't know, like I have no interest in doing that, but yet I still like it from the this is what I do, right? Like, I can make value out of anything, right? It doesn't matter if the game was dead or whatever. It's like I'll find my own fun. So between Renounced Darkness and some of these other gimmicks, I can definitely find value in it. In fact, I should almost put Renounced Darkness in this deck. Let me combine all the gimmicks. Like, we have 3 things going on here. Every card either has to have a chess piece in the name. So it would be pawn, which there are nothing with pawn that you could use with Warlock or whatever. There are no bishops. There's the Rook, right? The Malefic Rook, which is kind of like a Pit Lord equivalent, right? And then you have the Queen, Wretched Queen, and then you have every other card is like every other card is either a king, queen, or knight in the name, and the knight specifically has a rule that they have to be riding a horse. So I couldn't even fill all of them. I had to put in Sylvanas. So what I'm gonna do is I'll take out Sylvanas because she doesn't have queen in the name, even though she is the Banshee Queen, right? And I'll fit in 2 Renounced Darknesses so that we can have the full effect of like 3 different things going on at once, right? Which is just bonkers. The particular, I feel like I should have a gold Renounced Darkness by now. I don't typically do gold cards, but, or can you even do like platinum or some shit? See ya Darkness. But it's a situation where, okay, you have the king, queen, pawn, whatever. King, queen, knight, Gimmick on one hand, right? Everything has that. Or I have the win condition, like a checkmate of the, again, the 0 cost, you might question why, but it's to do the combo with this guy, right? You do the Bone Lord for 6 on turn 10. You do the Treachery for 3. You do the Death Gambit if you don't have anything on the board, and then you do the Chaotic Consumption. And then, so it's not an OTK, but whatever. Like, you'll kill them in 3 turns, right? Guaranteed. And there's nothing you can really do about it. Like, I don't think there's any effect in the game that really would impact that. Either to make it happen faster. There are some things that, like, oh, minions move 3 turns in the future. But, like, I don't know if that would affect the timer on that. So I don't think there's any way to prevent that or affect that or expedite it or stop it. But yeah, and then we have Renounced Darkness. So like this is turning into something really, really goofy. So actually, I kind of want that. Can I get like 1200 dust from this? And I want the I want Golden Renounce because it's a card that I really have such respect for that. Right, I just kind of want it. Or like, would you have to do that? Like, oh, golden. You'd have to have 2 golden cards. Right, like it's not enough to just make 1 golden and you can use it as many times as you want. No, you have to do them individually, which makes sense, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like what else could we do with this? I guess Jiraxis is just like a fun card, just that we could have for the sake of it, but I'm trying to think like what other fun Warlock cards or anything could you do in here. And so you have the win condition with the Bone Lord guy, which I consider a bit of a troll and pretty fun because again, it's just so annoying. Like, this is a deck you'd look at and say this is the biggest clown show ever, right? And then I end up beating like occasionally a meta deck that, oh, there's no way I could have possibly won, but then I do that combo and it's like, wow, you know, I had no other chance. And so you could also do Renounce now. It's combining a couple different things. That should easily be accounted for 1200 dust. Like, I should do some sort of mathematical scale to see, like, on average, how much dust do you get from a pack? Right, so if you open, like, 10 packs, you get, like, average of 100 per, or... I don't even know. You used to do this new thing, and then as soon as you would mouse over, it would go away. Right, that was the biggest troll. You would hit new, so like, oh, I want to disenchant all the new cards. But then I click it, oh, now it's no longer new, so now it won't show up here, and then I can't do it. Right, I'm telling you, that was so annoying. So, wait, that almost just happened, too. What? What? It is happening still. I'm even trolling it. If you mouse, oh my god. If you mouse over before you do it. Oh my god. Oh my god. They heard me and they got upset. Blizzard. What the fuck? Some of these are part of like some share deck temporary thing. But no, like my least played and explored classes were always like, I guess, well, no, more like priest, rogue, and I guess Death Knight and Demon Hunter, but those were newer, so I guess they almost don't count. And will they ever do Monk, I wonder? Oh shit, this isn't even gonna work because that's nowhere near 1200 dust. Like, what the fuck? Okay, I guess I don't understand what's happening. Show me not uncraftable, not missing. That obviously we're using here for the queen effect. I don't really want to disenchant warlock cards. I guess I get rid of this. Get rid of this. Unless that's where you get tricked a little bit too. There'll be a shared card that I'll accidentally disenchant because I'm not paying attention. That's one that I'm actually using. But that's one way that Magic could actually clown this game in the sense of like, oh, you get to share like one card between warlock and this and that, right? But the thing is that, like, with the way you can combine 2 colors in Magic, first of all, there's half of them, which means, you know, it's more impactful when you combine them. But like, imagine you can combine the entire warlock class and the paladin class, right? Like, that would be, or there should, again, almost be a format. I almost want to see a mod for that or something where you can combine every single class, because what I would do is like combine every class elusive together, basically. What is going on? Like, how do I not have more shit? There's no way I'm gonna be able to do 2 of them. I've dumped so much dust on this account, like, for nothing, to make all those king and queen cards, and I was kind of shocked. That's one of the weird trivia things that we found out from that. Why would it be that in the entire history of the game, you cannot make a deck filled with that criteria? There's not enough cards that say king or queen or knight, at least within the maybe the knight having to ride a horse, but still, like, where you would think there would at least be 30 cards for that. I guess we can do 1 golden one, which is kind of sad that we have to settle for that. I guess I don't understand. Like, how is this possible? See, we're using that though. What the fuck? What the fuck? It's shared between so many classes. Okay, fine. I'll just do 1 of them. I don't understand, but this is a wild card, yeah. And I love that about formats too. Like, what is the difference between standard and wild? And it's like, you know, would you rather use every card in the history of the game, or would you rather limit yourself, right? So anything you could make in standard, you could make in wild too, but there's a lot of things you can't do the other way. So I guess I just can't do it. I don't know. That's very odd. Damn it. I just wanted 2 of those as like the ultimate tribute, that like that card of all things I should have, or I should make kind of the representative gimmick ones like that, but there's no point disenchanting warlock cards because that's what this is all about. Damn it. Or maybe that means I should only have 1 of them, but then I don't know what else to put in here. Whatever. Can't even pay tribute to it properly. But yeah, I mean, Cataclysm's out, whatever. Like, I love how much I don't care about those things. Like, you know, a new expansion's out, so let me do the same thing. And hooray, it might be fun that we might get another elusive or gimmick card that we can fit into one of these decks, but that's the only thing I would care about from it. Or it would even be like, this, where, oh, Renounce could give you some of those cards or whatever. So now that gives you some sort of an escape point of, in fact, I'll even keep Togwaggle because he can be the game-changing thing, especially if you prevent them from switching back. Like, how can you win with a shitty deck? Oh, you can take their deck, right? Like, even the other card that gives you the 7 cost, that gives you a copy of their deck. Yeah, this dude. So, like, we have a great chance to win this game, even though this sucks, because, oh, we can get their deck and we can get their deck. So then we'll actually have good cards, because this deck obviously doesn't have those. So this is unfortunate, but honestly, if they're going to let me sit with this thing, I'll deal with it. Right, like, I don't have much I could have done anyway. Or even like, oh, you get all these different arenas and stuff, variety from Wild. Like, that's why, like, I could say that Wild is objectively better than Standard because it's just more. Anything you could do anyway, but options, you have more options, basically. Right, like in any other format too, like, or any other card game, Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or something. Is it like when I'm playing Magic for the first time, right? Arena in like 2022 and 23, and people are even saying that, like, oh, why are you playing like the unlimited formats and stuff like that? And it's like, but I've never played the game before, so shouldn't I experience every single card together, right? Like, why should I limit myself to the newer cards? Besides maybe the business incentive that, oh, they want to sell newer packs or whatever. But, you know, shouldn't I want to experience the most number of things together? It'd be cool if we could get the combo cards, but I'm not going to wait. Like, we should play this like we're actually trying to win it, which means these 2 cards are going to be your best, and Renounced Darkness can be an early game thing. But yeah, some of them almost break the rule, like, oh, he's a king pin instead of a king, but like, it still counts, I guess, but that's a little bit iffy. But again, even with that, there's not enough of these on their own. There's not enough cards in the game that say king or queen, which is kind of shocking, right? To actually fill out a deck, you should always tap first, probably. Okay. you need them to be kind of slow paced a little bit so you can have a chance to do this, but again, we don't have any of the combo cards, and I shouldn't even wait for them because you're gonna have a better chance, right? No matter what I was gonna do here, it's gonna be garbage, right? So it's a deck that almost you want to hide from. Like, you're gonna win despite the gimmick, not because of the gimmick, because it's just so bad. But again, these two are kind of funny because they both do fit the criteria of king, and they both give you a good chance to win. If only he had 10 cards. But why would anybody normally even allow that to happen? Right, you would have to do something to give them that, but right, he's never gonna have 10 cards. But you get like more variety of the arenas, the music, the cards, everything is a net positive. It kind of shows you how people ruin things, like, oh, having more choices is somehow a bad thing. Right, like you would rather have all the options and then you can choose to restrict them how you want, or you can have less options, right? Which, again, the more options includes the less options. You just have to do it yourself, right? That's why we can't have nice things. You have to be forced, otherwise people will metagame and do degenerate stuff. Like, my whole nature is like, I wouldn't even enjoy that necessarily, right? Like, I like to do my own whatever random things, different formats and stuff. The treachery, I don't mind even if I don't get the one cost thing, but at least if I get treachery, what happens is, if I get treachery, it allows me to, damn it, I got the other thing I just said I didn't want, because damn it, fuck. See, I got greedy. I should have just done it. Because at least then I could figure out if I have enough stuff on the board, but why am I waiting for that combo when I had so many good options to do? Fuck. Because I'm not going to have any removal or anything either. Or I guess that does work. We're trying to subvert Hearthstone as much as possible. Let's try to play any game besides Hearthstone in Hearthstone. Like, we're playing chess in Hearthstone, or we're playing StarCraft in Hearthstone by doing this. This today should be pretty good. What I was kind of waiting for was the I was waiting for the oh god, now I'll burn it. Or oh no, now I should do this. Fuck. I need the treachery, but again, I don't need it, but that'd be kind of cool to have. And then we can still do all this, but then at least we have what we need. Yeah, that would be kind of a troll interaction, but again, I just don't have a way to fill up their hand normally. And I don't see why somebody would sit on 10 cards normally. Or like, would these two be usable somehow? Like, if I replace it with a copy of my opponent's, and then I don't know, like what the swapping would have to do with that, because then they could just swap back to their own deck anyway. Okay, at least it wasn't treachery. This is so annoying. Like, I really should have done it. Or now we're gonna end up doing the same thing again. You know, I'll just assume that I can kill it without needing the thing. Like, I'll have enough on the board to do it. Because you don't even need enough to kill it. You just need enough to have something on the board to be able to do this after. Right, so you don't need the 0 cost unless you have nothing on the board and you summon the Bone Lord on the same turn. Right, so you would do this, then you do treachery, then you do this. But it assumes you already have something out there, which isn't that hard to do, right? So you could argue maybe you don't need the imp in there, but just to be sure that it works, right? So they're allowing me to play like way too slow pace that normally you wouldn't be able to do. Wait, what is going on? How did he do that much for that? Wait, hurry up. No, Death Knight's kind of disappointed me that they didn't have enough Man, it's just not giving it to me, huh? So annoying. I don't even know or care what these Zerg effects are, but yeah, you would think with this whole anti-spell thing that they have, they would have more elusive minions. And do they even have any elusive minions? I kept looking throughout every expansion. I would keep checking, and they never even got one. Like, they didn't have any. Oh shit! There's not gonna be any healing, so I guess I'm just done. Right, that's what a lot of my gimmicks have, is they don't have healing, they don't have AoE, or they don't have board clear necessarily. So that's unfortunate. Bro, can I just get treachery or not? Come on, yeah, I guess that's one form of healing. I better just do it. We're not gonna be able to do this otherwise. Forget it. There's no point, because I mean, you know, we're gonna lose anyway. That's so boring. Like, fuck. If you're gonna do it, you should just do it early, because then I would have had a much better chance. Like, if we're actually playing this to try to win, that's kind of the fun thing about it. You can do a gimmick deck and try to win, try your best to win with it, but you you basically, you know, like you create a format, like, okay, I'm gonna, like how I do in permanent runs and stuff, like, okay, I'll make it harder for myself, but then I am trying to win within that criteria, right? It's not like, oh, I'm trying to play the deck for fun and do goofy interactions. I should play it to try to win, but you're going into it for fun. Like, you're building it in such a way that you're not trying to win, or you're not building the best possible deck. You're building a gimmick with a certain intention behind it, but then when you're actually playing it, you should still try to win with it, right? Like, I'm not gonna hold back necessarily. Okay. Fuck me. That's two less, but yeah, that's the whole funny thing, is the best cards you're gonna get are gonna be the ones from your opponent. Or oh, I should do it. Wait, but now, oh fuck, I don't even know. Like, it doesn't matter because now I already have his deck. So, right, that would have been cool normally. What? That's too bad. Like, that just didn't go quite the way I wanted. But, like, oh, hooray, we did the we didn't give them the ransom, but it doesn't matter because we switched their deck with their decks. Like, okay, dude. Just so dumb. But yeah, that's what you should do. If you don't get the combo by turn 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever, you should just do that card no matter what. The you know, like, what am I waiting for? Because we're not gonna have any chance to win normally. If we happen to get the cards for it, fine. If not, like, we should let what we get dictate it, but we can kind of mulligan for it too. If we get the combo cards, we can play for that, right? If we get the Renounced Darkness, we should just do that. If we get the other thing, we should do that. The, what is it? You know, the Togwaggle or whatever. It's like we already don't have enough time to get the combo cards, but like, whatever we get, we'll just go with it, right? I'm not gonna wait. There's no point, because you're gonna be doing that every game then. Right, that was a perfect opportunity for me to do it early, and then I might have actually won. You can do the 0 cost thing, which seems like a troll, but it is logical, because if you really want to guarantee that combo, right, that's the Hearthstone equivalent of a checkmate. I mean, any win condition like that could be, but Exodia Paladin, which I hate when it was called that, because that's not even accurate. Exodia has to do with the hand, right? It's not it's not a board condition. Like, I get it, it's an auto win thing, but like there's probably better terms to describe it than just you know, that just doesn't make as much sense to me. But okay, so we should let that dictate it. Like, we're gonna do Togwaggle on turn 8 and that's it. Like, and again, if we could somehow play around the fact that he has 10 cards, I'm just shocked that people let that happen, right? Because again, there's nothing I can really do to make it happen. Or I could do Renounce. I almost should do it. Right, I should just do it. And sometimes what's good with that is I like when it gives you like it gives you like low cost stuff too. Like, it'll give you a lot of 0 cost or stuff that you can actually play immediately. So even if you have 0 mana when you play it, after you play it. I'm gonna 5/5 shark with rush. Deal 2 damage. I often don't get rogue with it actually, but sprint is great. Anything that gives you card draw is gonna be great because you want to play through the stuff really quick. So, and you do have a lot of neutral cards with this anyway for the kings and stuff, but this should work, I guess. The big mistake that people make in a lot of games, like I do that in chess even or anything, is like is like trying to play too fast, especially when you're not good at it or you're kind of new to it. Like, anybody could be better if you just took your time more, but then people feel embarrassed of doing that, or like, oh, you shouldn't have to. Like, oh, if you're good, you shouldn't have to take so long, but if you are good, you have to take long, or, you know, to compensate for the fact that you're not good, you should take your time. So it's kind of a self-defeating thing. Like, oh, you're not smart enough to be good at it, so why even bother? But that's why you should do it. We're gonna have 10 mana if you control a secret, or that's one way that you could actually do it, is if you get Togwaggle, you could do this and then do it right in this. You can't do it in the same turn though, or I could even have done it almost now, but I don't know what to even do here. Like, right, this could theoretically fill up their hand that way. Right, or an effect like that could have been good, but what it means is basically you could the problem is I can never do those two together, so it almost just doesn't even make sense. But Jesus Christ. Alright, let's try it again. So it's very tempting to get that ransom play off, but it's just never gonna happen because, right, you would have to do those two basically together. As if that would be the only way I can do it, is King Mukla plus that. But like, maybe he just won't play anything, or he'll keep generating stuff. But no, it feels weird having like maybe. Oh, is he gonna do it? He's done it to himself. Right, so now assuming his deck isn't good, but then again, what I gave him might not be so bad either. Right now they don't have the ransom card either. So there's a couple mechanics in here that you just straight up troll your opponent. You can switch the deck and then they can't get it back if their hand is full like that. Oh, what a loss that was, that he didn't get it. You control them with this, or you control them with the win condition Bone Lord thing as well. I mean, I'm probably still gonna lose, but this is too bad. Right, like, I don't even know what to do with this. We need like a low cost removal type of thing here. 2 random enemy minions. Draw a card for each that dies. Summon a leech, summon a leech. Plus corpses instead of mana. But that should be good, I guess. I'm just more so concerned about my health for whatever reason. Now they'll do the same thing or whatever. So now what he has in his hand is what's going to end me, but like what he's drawing probably won't be that good, although it could be. Even I don't know what it is. That's the whole beauty of it. I don't know what he got because it was all the rogue, well, some of them are at least the rogue cards that you normally get. Attack all other minions, resurrect any this killed. Why would you even bother doing that if it's not like I had anything that was really worth doing that to? And it says resurrect, but it doesn't say like resurrect for your sake. What spells would we even have that make that worth it? We could just do this, I guess. Ironically, not a Death Knight card out of the ones that we actually do have. Right. Or yeah, like would these be considered power creep? We should almost measure that. Like if this was a real card today, it doesn't. No, that one almost seems still a little bit too strong though. Okay. Like what was the mistake there? I don't even know. We did renounce, we did the Togwaggle interaction. Like these seem like winnable games if I just do it the right way, even with the limited and kind of flawed structure of what I have, right? Like so again, the like your best chance is to take their deck because this seemed like a meta, very high caliber deck that was, right? That didn't just seem like some random deck. I'm always annoyed by these spaces around the side, or like my Ryan Gosling pet peeve sort of moment, where you have this shit here, the how it's a game about cards and the card backs are a big part of it, and you even can spend real money and customize and stuff, but you can't even see them. You see them halfway, sideways, up and down. That's one of the dumbest design decisions in the history of anything. You can't even see it. Like you got to lay it flat. Like every other game in existence does that. So we have a decent curve just to be able to play stuff. But again, I'll let it dictate what we get. If we get the treachery and stuff, but even if we get that, we can still play. I guess we can't play renounce because then it wouldn't let me do that. Right, it'll replace it, but we would have to get treachery and Bone Lord, and I guess that's all you need, just treachery and Bone Lord. And then if I have a minion strong enough already to kill the Bone Lord the same turn, then you don't need the one cost thing, the destroy. You don't need that. And then also, if you have so you would need two things, right? You have the Bone Lord and treachery, and then I have a strong enough minion to kill the Bone Lord the same turn already on the field, and I have another minion to sacrifice. Or wait, well, I guess either or, right? I don't think I've even gotten a chance to play that thing. But no, you have the Bone Lord, you have treachery, and then either you have a minion on the field that's weak, but but this, or you have something strong enough to kill it, but then you don't need that. Or again, you could have these two together. How come I never get value out of Black Knight? Like, why don't they just summon something with taunt? Or with 10 cards of different costs, summon a custom location. But yeah, a situation where basically this is kind of a boring thing too on the outside, because that really is this supposed to be Cataclysm even? Like, oh look, Deathwing slash the thing. I don't even know. None of these locations really indicate the destruction of it as much. We have some of the combo cards. In fact, all we need is the Bone Lord, and then see, I wouldn't mind after doing that. I wouldn't mind after doing that the particular like switching the decks. I wouldn't mind doing those after we do after we get the Bone Lord. I guess we can't do Renounce until that happens. Terror Run, one of the funniest names of a location in the game. Like, you'll aggro a big dinosaur when you go there, and it's like, oh, that's telling you what to do. Right, like they'll end up having a card of every single area, every single zone in the game. So we have double of those, which I really don't need. We basically have a good position here. I mean, he's obviously a bot because that gear card back must indicate that, but the thing is that, you know, what I want, or that's one thing they never let you do, is like change the order of your cards like that. Which to some extent maybe that should be, because like that is kind of dumb. If you're trying to remember your opponent's cards, like, oh, they drew this then or whatever, it kind of ruins it, because then you can't keep track of anything. What are you supposed to do? Watch them every second to see where they move what card? Like, because there are certain things like, okay, they have to reveal something to you, but then they can switch it around anyway. You'll maybe know still that they have it in their hand, but you won't know which one it is. Okay, we're kind of winning this one anyway on the board, but again, all we would need is the Bone Lord, and then if we just do it, right, we could do it now on turn 7, because I have enough on the board, so I don't even have to worry about anything. But it's a situation where, again, then we could do Togwaggle or something too. Discover a minion from your deck. But no, that's always the assumption with bots, is that they're bad or they'll use bad decks. Why couldn't you give a bot a great deck? And why couldn't the bot be really good by today's standards? Like, in other games you have that, like chess and stuff. But no, this arena makes no sense. Like, is this really supposed to be Cataclysm? Like, how? I don't even know what this is. Everything's just so generic looking. Okay, he's making a bit of a comeback here. I could use one of these just flippantly if I want. In fact, very easily. And in fact, I don't have anything else going on with it. Because... okay. It's just too slow paced sometimes is the problem. We could do this. Hope he doesn't have removal. That's what we need in chess, a death rattle variant where, like, whenever a piece dies, they summon something weaker in its place. Right, you could do that just even with pawns. Like, every time something dies, you get a pawn for it. Okay. Like, we're gonna get cooked, but let's just hope he can't remove it. Right, so anytime you trade a piece into another piece, you get a pawn back. Both players get a pawn back. Or maybe the person who initiates, they get, well, but then that's kind of one-sided. Oh my god. We didn't get really anything here, and again, we're not going to have adequate removal for this either. Like, oh my god. They just won't give me what I need, man. You do like Lich King plus that. The I don't know. Just not working out though. I mean, so now we could still do Bone Lord Treachery kind of thing. That could be useful later. I mean, all this is assuming they don't have any removal at all ever, but they're not me, and they don't use my kind of deck, so they easily could have it. Put one of each aura from your deck. He's aura farming. He's Piccolo from DBZ, or he's gonna aura farm here. Oh my god. It's just so boring sometimes. You just can't do anything about it. Right, there's literally nothing I can do. Like that one didn't really even have a chance, but you could, again, Renounce is in there, and so are some of the other switch your deck type things. It's just kind of boring. Like that one was no fun. Yeah, he's playing very bot like anyway, so we're losing the bots with, again, arguably good decks, better decks than what I'm presenting here, but at least the criteria of this one is pretty solid. Like it's, well, now we've kind of mishmashed it a little bit too much, but it's like, you know, the theme of it is very clear. I like those ones that I have, like where it's the gimmick that has a rule set, like the evolve shaman thing. Every single card has to say transform, or it has to say something similar, or like summon a copy or transform. There's a very clear criteria that you have. Alright, so let's look for treachery. We got it already. So what it means is now we have this combo that I'm tempted to keep for the curve, but I mean, because we arguably don't need anything else, right? Again, you could theoretically do it just with that if you have, you know, you have the enough on the board to actually kill it yourself.
I cannot wait to read these.
So, okay, that's not a bad start. Like, again, I'd be willing to switch decks or do whatever now because that other combo pieces aren't entirely necessary. The imp or the one cost would be good even. Because again, it just assumes you have a minion on the field. It doesn't matter what it even is. Right, if you have the one cost or if you have enough to trade in, then you don't need either one. So it's not as bad of a condition as you think. If I just have, like, okay, let's say I have the Lich King out there, then I do this, and then I just kill it. Right, you don't need anything else. You just need basically the two cards. Right, it's not that hard to have a minion out there that just has 6 attack. Okay, hurry up. Why are you roping on turn 2, man? Like, what are you doing? And we just play on curve normally for now, but I'm very interested in Togwaggle and the King of Piracy here. And the reason why is because I could easily do them now and not have to worry about it because we still theoretically have the win condition. I can't do Renounce because I'd have to do this first, though. Right, and if I do it, then it's already too late. And again, you could theoretically do it and, like, okay, they're not going to necessarily be able to silence their own card, so maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking either. Like, what if I just do this and then assume that it's going to die later and it's still going to have the same effect? Right, I'm just assuming that they'd have a way to counter that, but maybe they don't. Right, not everybody's not going to have just a silence on hand to be able to counter that, right? So just simply doing this alone is arguably enough. But again, I have to survive this early part of the game, which is really hard to do. Yeah, even that alone is good because, right, more than likely they're not going to be able to stop me from doing that. They'll need some silence or some other way to get rid of it for their own minion. Yeah, it is a pretty fun thing to be able to mech about. There's obviously probably more efficient ways to do it, but actually this is one of the telltale best cards to do it, obviously. So again, that combo, even with the one cost, is pretty much guaranteed to work. And I mean, again, even if you do it, it's possible you'll lose in those 3 turns, sure, but you know, it's like, even against a really good deck, meta deck, Legend Caliber deck, if I got the interaction off, right, probably can survive 3 turns. It just depends how the rest of the game goes. But especially if their deck is kind of slow paced, right, it may work out. And so I don't know why they made that tradable of all things. Like, what does that have to do with anything? So now what you can do,
I do love a good study session.
you could easily do it in such a way that, you know, let me see. Let's do this, I guess. Again, that ogre gang thing is not gonna come into play at all, so it just doesn't matter.
I'm invincible.
I like the way he says that. I must attack the minion with taunt. I feel like some of these lines I don't even often hear. The amount of work that they put into their cosmetics and stuff, I have to give them credit for. Even if you want to say, oh, but they're charging for them, but they're still much more lovingly made. Like the Magic Arena ones are kind of lame. Like they don't have voices, or certainly not this much character. And some of them even you do have to buy there too, or at least you can buy them. I mean, they cost 7 or more. Okay, but they're playing kind of slow and giving me a chance, but it's just taking forever to actually do anything. Like what is it that I even want right now? Like I want one of the things that switches our deck. Like if I assume that, oh, they won't be able to kill this thing, then I could even take a chance and still do it. But fuck, man. You know, I'll hold out for doing that and then I lose because there's too many of these dead brick turns. Like you just can't do anything. Right? Their field isn't even good, but oh my god. Yeah, it's a fun idea, but it's a really trash deck. I mean,
The best defense is a great defense.
oh god. Yeah, see, like this. Is this an actual character in lore or something, or is it just a generic thing that they... Okay. I mean, I can't do it, right? Treachery is gonna be... I just can't do it.
I can take the hit.
Right, like I'm just dead. I can't even survive long enough to do that. It's possible you'll get some other card that'll have a similar effect to switch control, but I mean, that's too bad. In that case, you almost wish that Renounce wouldn't do the cards in your hand then, so at least you would have the Treachery would stay. Right, that it would only do the ones in your deck, but that's part of the fun of it, is you want to... I mean, all of these are neutral cards anyway. And this effect is useless. I mean, if I was to try to do it, oh, every first card... Like, there might be some win condition with that too. Like, it's okay to do it, but those 3 cards will be like Pyroblast every time, and you'll get 3 free Pyroblast, but... I don't know what it is that people use that for in a beneficial sense. Like, okay, I'll play it, and it's a good thing if you kill it, because
I cannot wait to read.
then I'll use that effect to somehow OTK you before then. Yeah, this isn't working because it's not doing anything for me.
Round 2.
This effect I sometimes get, but like now I probably won't. Draw a rush, give it corrupt. Oh, well, if wait. I mean, it wouldn't be very hard to do that. Play a card that costs 1 more. And again, this I don't know what I'm gonna get from it even. But a lot of these things end up being a mystery to me. Let's just do that for the taunt's sake. Then this should turn into corrupt, and then this also free to play by the way. What? What the hell happened? So that means I have nothing in there with Rush? Okay, this will be fine, I guess. But yeah, you get a lot of often duplicate cards, or like, that's one cool thing about Renounce, is it'll give you like, it can give you 3 copies of the same thing. Unless they change that, but like it could give you just random stuff, right? It'll give you 3 copies of the same card that you normally couldn't have, or 2 of the same legendary even. This would have been cute, but you can't do them in the right sequence here. That's so lame, like some of the ways that I'm losing these, but... Oh, but it's attack and health too, so... Which is still almost enough to kill me, but... Right, like that is an amazing card, and it almost should be a paladin legendary because of the effect is so like, you know, equality-esque, humility equality, but it's and they likely don't have a way to, well, they could have some buffs or something, but so it's still tough because I don't know. You're really gonna use that as a combo here. Okay. Just don't have anything to do with their mana. Or wait, it's not only a 0 cost, but it's staying 0 cost forever. What? Okay. Yeah, this is problematic. The Bone Lord at this point is gonna be useless anyway. Right, I almost may as well just do it as a static play, but the thing is that you're top minions, but there are no top minions. Like, fuck. What is it that I could get? There are no rush minions anyway. You could get like a cheap taunt maybe. 4 cost taunt. Or yeah, I didn't even know if he was gonna get that or not. It's so annoying because you like almost have something going, but then it just, you can't quite keep up with the pace of some of these decks. Are gonna be too much. This would be good. It's control no other minions, get +2/+2 and rush. Oh my god. What?
Put your faith in the light.
Well played. Reporting for duty.
Can you get banned for spamming emotes too much? Because they can mute you. It's kind of like the same concept with blocks, like blocking stuff on social media. If you look at it like, you know, like you could say you censor or ban something, but there's no point because, you know, it's like, oh, should the platform ban somebody, or you could just block them, right? It's like the phone company saying, oh, they should cut off somebody's service because they say mean things to other people. It's like, you can just block their number or just don't answer, right? It's up to you to do that. So that's the modern moderation thing that we can teach, is like, right, you want it to be on the user side. You can choose who and who not to interact with, and it's kind of a luxury, and you don't even have to use that platform at all. So it's not even that I would defend those platforms necessarily, but it is taking it too far when you say like some of these propaganda points of like, oh, they know that their posts on Instagram and stuff are making people have body insecurity and whatever it is, right? They try to attack them, but is it really up to them to do that? Like, people can post whatever they want and interpret the post however they want. Really, is that really something that we should? Because that's like a pretense for censorship, basically. That you would say, well, it's up to them to moderate everything, and therefore, blame them, right? Versus blaming the social perception of, like, you're trying to tell me that a lot of filters and stuff that they post on social media is therefore then going to make people insecure about their appearance, and then therefore, oh, that creates negative emotional stress, as if the societal superficial emphasis on appearance isn't the issue there, right? That, like, maybe we just shouldn't care so much about appearance, and it doesn't matter, like. Or if you're gonna switch your deck, you almost don't want to do Renounce, because that could be better than what I normally have. But then again, I have so many neutral cards that, like, I don't think Renounce is even good in this, because there's too many neutral cards. But yeah, it's like a pretense. So in a way, I would not criticize those things as much. Like, should social media companies censor people for saying something, whatever, negative? They shouldn't, because, right, it should be on the user, up to the user, right? Because we're playing handlock at this point, like, fucking, right, it should be up to the user. Okay, you don't have to interact with them, you could block them if you want, like, that shouldn't be an issue, right? So let the user be in control of it, because then it's up to them what they want to associate with or not. It's kind of it's not a necessity to use those things, right? So it's like, oh, you're being forced to see this, but you can choose not to, block them, whatever, tell me don't recommend this person, that kind of stuff. Or you could just not use the platform at all. Like, there's so many options you can do. It's not a necessity, but somehow we attack them instead, the person doing it. Or even this way, you have again, like, should they moderate is just like a euphemism for censorship, really. Like, why should you need to do that if it's something, see, I should always just do it now, because I don't know what's going on. I end up waiting too long, and then wait too long, and then it ends up hurting me, because, but no, it's like a euphemism for censorship, because it's like, what is the argument? Let me look up, actually. Social media moderation, appearance kind of stuff. I don't know what it is. Social media moderation, filtering user generated content, right? Because that's what people say sometimes in these studies, like, oh, did you know that being on Instagram or social media creates, like, anxiety about people's appearance and then distress? And it's like, it may do that, but, like, think about it. That'd be like saying, oh, looking at models or looking at movies or TV could make you insecure about stuff like that. But should you derive, the real problem is the superficiality of society. Like, should you really derive value from appearance? First of all, like, it's just your appearance, who cares, really? Right? So the fact that society is so superficial and vain, and that you get so much value from your appearance, or that you right, you shouldn't derive so much value and ego from your appearance. And even if you do, you shouldn't blame that for, like, oh, they're just showing you images of people that might be very curated and filtered and blah blah blah, but you could just imagine that anyway. So instead of seeing stuff on there that makes you think of how you would want to look or whatever, you could just imagine it, like, okay, this is how you want to look, or this is how a person could look. But so does it really matter? Like, you're kind of a mindless sheep who's relying on externality to show you everything. But infuse, summon another, zero cost.
My pets can taste your care.
Unfortunately, we barely survive that. In fact, we don't survive that. Some of this is boring, but it's because we're going against decks that maybe are just too good. Like, or again, I'm waiting too long in hope of that combo, but it's just not happening.
Tough as a tortola.
So we have to renounce as like a only safety measure, because unless their deck is really slow paced, because it's like we're going against decks that we could never beat normally anyway. So we did. Wait, he had lethal though. He had it. Like we could never beat these decks normally anyway, but Ultra Gigasaur. Like, why do you even have that, dude? Like, what is this card? First of all, it costs 11, so I don't even understand. Are there like a lot of things that give you extra mana now, or what? Why is this even a thing? What is this card? Ultra Gigasaur. That is so nonsensical. Why would you have a card like that that has no way to reduce its cost inherently? That's like just... It's very conditional on doing something else. Like, what is the point of it? Call back to Ultrasar. Features on the card art. First card to cost more than 10 with neither an inherent or specific synergy to reduce its cost. Yeah, so either you need the coin or what? Like, what is it that... I'm so confused. Not saying there aren't a lot of ways to do it, but it just makes no sense to make that. But that's my type of card with the whole Lorthamar interaction, potentially. Okay. The thing is that, okay, I'll just keep it. I maybe should have even kept that. So we have Renounce, we have the Treachery, maybe the Bone Lord. We have the, we're gonna be have a card back give people a seizure before GTA 6 with all this fucking flashy shit. Yeah, I could not have told that it was Rafam because he looks like a clown here. Like, what is this? All these bozo stupid avatar arts and stuff. Or like, okay, let me do a little psychological analysis here. Like, there's this clip of XQC, I don't know if it was recent or not, talking about like the billionaires and Epstein and stuff, and like how I will return the favor when the time is right. Like, it's like he says it like this, like, why do these people do all these weird things, right? Oh, it's because like there's nothing to do late game, he says, which is an interesting way to phrase it, but like I'll dig into the psychology of that a little bit. There's like a twofold reason why those things happen, right? Number one is just the power of it. You can say, okay, this is the power corrupts concept that you often hear about, right? Power corrupts in the sense that when people, you know, people, the mass of people would condemn something, whatever it might be, right? Not even just that, but anything bad. You'll say, like let's just say it in even a consensual way, right? Or a positive way. Like, okay, you are an ordinary person and you're married and you have a wife or husband or whatever, and you say, oh no, you don't want to sleep around with random people, you're happy and you're content. But that's actually kind of a trick by society to say, well, everybody will create their own false absolute, but it's really a way to train you and tame you like an animal with your own gratification, right? It's like an ego loop control thing that I've talked about. What it means is that or like having the oh yeah, I forgot about that. Having the golden renounce makes every card you get from renounce therefore gold. Like, that's so cool. But oh my god, let's just do it. But what I'm saying is, okay, I didn't even remember that was the thing, right? But that's, so you're gonna get every gold card that you want. But okay, it's like the power corrupts thing. So you'll say, oh no, you don't want to sleep around with different people every day, and again, all consensual and all fine, but like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to have supermodels and sleep with different people and just, you know, all that. You don't want that. is what you try to convince yourself. You condemn that morally. But the reason why the mass is conditioned to condemn that morally is because it's not practical, or you don't have the means or resources or opportunity to do that. If you did have the means or resources or opportunity to do that, right, then very likely people would want to do that. So they just can't admit it. So you pretend to want something else. So what happens is, maybe replayed, potentially different outcome. What is happening? Right, so the massive people, oh no, of course you don't want supermodels and to sleep around and have as many partners as you want whenever you want. Of course you don't want that. You want to be restricted to just one and struggle with that and pretend like it's an absolute. That's social conditioning, but you somehow enforce it yourself through gratification and the false absolute to gratify and control you through your ego. Like, oh, it's false absolute stimuli, acme specification, like this, you know, that you want to be with the one person. So that's an interesting form of conditioning there that works. So again, on one hand, it's the means and the opportunity, right? You look at, like, let's look at it in a more innocuous way. First of all, to analyze this psychologically, you could say basically that, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio is dating all these younger women, right? It's not necessarily anything wrong with it, right? It could be all legal, it could be all consensual, right? Bill Belichick with the younger girl, right? Even though he's like 70 or whatever, and she's like 20 something, right? Without getting into the details or anything like that. Or Jerry Seinfeld went out with that Shoshana girl who was like 18 when he was like 40 or so, you know, whatever it is, right? Some of this, I'll look at it on the basis, again, this is a very nuanced discussion, so don't take it too seriously. But, like, on one hand, you could say it's arbitrary from country to country. So it's like one country will insist upon, oh, that's a bad thing because of an arbitrary year, like, oh, somebody's 17 and whatever. Like, in this country, you have to be 18, age of consent, or another country it'll be 16, right? So on one hand, there's no consensus or absolute with that. So you're kind of insisting upon the pseudo morality of, I'm not saying what is right or what is wrong. I'm just saying one country it'll be okay because of the law. The other country it won't be. So you're kind of insisting upon not some inherent objective standard of what is right. You're insisting upon your country's specific subjective arbitrary year. So, oh, it's bad if you do it this year because of this country, but then it's okay in another country for that same year. So, right, whatever your standard is, though, should be consistent. But instead, it's kind of like people mindlessly regurgitating, oh, the law here says this, so therefore that's right. And anyone who does anything else is immoral, even though other countries say otherwise. Like, so again, I'm not saying what the standard should be, but right, it is sort of arbitrary, like, oh, the difference of 1 year or something is going to do this, where, you know, like, oh, I should have done that, I don't know what I'm doing. So in one country you'll be a bad person because of that, and we'll act all morally righteous, but then it's like, oh, that's just you know, it's a difference of 1 year, so, oh, we're morally up in arms about this, but in another country, or it's just so, like, we're acting like it's an absolute when clearly it's not. It's subjective. It comes down to opinion based on the country and stuff like that. So whatever your standard is fine, but it's like, it's not an absolute, but you're kind of treating it like that because you feel like, what if we switch the deck now? What does that even mean with the togwaggle? Like, I'm curious. What does this even mean? What? Well, first of all, I'm gonna die even if I try to do that, but I'm so confused. Look, dude. What is even happening right now? Okay, can I get through what I was trying to say? But I do want to see that interaction either way of the togwaggle or whatever. Like, what happens with the portal? So I take his portal. Like, that makes no sense actually how that works, because I guess this counts as a deck, like with a fixed, the cards in there are a fixed order or something, right? But okay, maybe one turn too late because he's already off to the races, but I would be curious to see still how this happens. Oh, that's actually a clutch though, even regardless of anything else. Oh, but now I won't be able to see the interaction, and I'll die anyway, won't I? But that's not gonna save me, so damn it. Like, what happens? What? That is actually really funny how it works like that. Okay, that's actually cool. So it does actually I thought that would be like a bug or a glitch or something maybe they hadn't thought about. Okay, what I was saying is, let's analyze that whole concept, right? Again, the ordinary person is controlled by their own ego gratification. Like, oh no, it's not that you don't want to have, it's not that you're just like trained and tamed and kind of controlled by specifying, you know, that's a good example, right? Oh no, it's love and it's meant to be, and it's a soulmate and it's a false absolute, but everybody has it. So if it's absolute for everybody, then it's absolute for nobody. So it's just a way to bypass your ego gratification, get you to specify a process that's otherwise inherent and free and universally applicable, right? So again, think about that from the ordinary person's perspective. Oh no, you wouldn't want to sleep around and have supermodels and different people all the time or whatever. Oh no, you don't want that. You want to be restricted to one person and be limited, right? That's what you want, and it's love is meant to be. Really, it's just, oh, you're being trained and controlled. It's easier for society to control, and oh, you don't have the means or opportunity to do that. So it's a way to kind of get you to not really think about it or not desire it. So if you did have the means or opportunity, right, that's how these people think, or in general, kind of just again, power corrupts kind of thing, but it kind of just makes sense, right? It's kind of like, or like the subjectivity too of that, like you insist upon something as absolute, even though it's subjective morality between country to country and time period to time period. So it's not an absolute, so whatever your standard is, you can respect it, but don't act like the law is absolute, or act like, oh, you know, we're morally righteous here, and then another country is bad because they have a different law, and then follow a different age, because it's not really based in anything 100% confirmable, right? Maybe it should be a higher age in your country too, or it's not an absolute. So you should at least define a criteria of exactly what it is that you want, or realize that they're subjective from country to country, and then come to some consensus. But right, it's like this sort of indignant insistence upon it as though it's absolute and you're righteous, even though it clearly it varies from country to country. So you're going to say, oh, every other country is wrong and yours is right, or something. But again, the other thing, like the power corrupts thing, like, oh, if somebody's a multimillionaire and they're successful and they're a big actor, actress, whatever, and now it feels like, oh, now they're being promiscuous and sleeping around and whatever. And again, assuming even it's all consensual, it's all legal, but like it would be like, from I think about it from Leonardo DiCaprio's perspective or something like that. Wouldn't it be a shame if he didn't, is almost how he could think about it. Like, oh, he worked his whole life and he's so successful and he's rich. It's like, if he doesn't, if Leonardo DiCaprio or Bill Belichick or whoever doesn't sleep around and doesn't take advantage of that, and doesn't, you know, of their success and wealth, and, you know, they're able to sleep around and have supermodels and this and that, if they don't do that, then who will? Or it's kind of like, isn't it a waste of their success then? It's like, oh no, they want to have that success, but then they want to live the exact ordinary life that you live, and they want to be married and have one person and that's it, right? Well, anybody could do that, and ordinary people do that all the time. So doesn't it feel, this is how they would think, right? Doesn't it feel like, oh, they have that success and money or resource or whatever opportunity, so wouldn't it be a shame if they didn't take advantage of it? Like, if they don't do it, then who will? And, you know, right, like, it kind of is tied together. So what you think you desire, or what you're trained to pretend like you desire in society, is actually just a product of what your opportunity and means are. So again, if you have that opportunity, you're telling me you wouldn't want it or you wouldn't take it, or again, it would be almost like a waste or a shame if you didn't do it. So you're condemning something that you don't have the opportunity to do, mainly only just because of that. Or it's kind of like the gratification too of like struggling against a contrivance state that's artificial and man-made, and it's kind of like you'll do that in service of contrivance. Like, oh, you'll work super hard to try to overcompensate for the flawed process that's set in place by people, and never question it and take gratification from it, right? But what if that flawed process you're overcompensating for was World War II Germany or China right now or something like that, right? It's a flawed process, so you're slaving away in service of that and feeling gratified about it for struggling against it. So it's an endless loop of like, okay, then struggle against it more and that'll make it better. But the other point again, like that's how the perception would be like, oh, if you're successful and you have all this opportunity to do stuff like that, it's like, why would you want to be the ordinary person that anybody could be, or like do the ordinary thing that anybody could do if you have this extraordinary resource or whatever opportunities, right? So that's how the perception would work. Like the ordinary person has to pretend like they don't want those things or those things are immoral just because they don't have the opportunity to do them, right? And just because that's how you're socially trained. But on an individual basis, like, oh, if you had $100 million and you were a big name actor, director, producer, whatever, you're telling me you might not take advantage of that and not try to, you know, do things that ordinarily people couldn't do. So it's like a defense mechanism of the masses that, oh no, that's a bad thing that they're doing. Not that, oh, you're jealous and you wish you could do that too, but you just don't have the means or opportunity or resource. So that's kind of the reality of how it actually works. So again, it's the means that are defining, and it's kind of like people in those positions would look at it almost like a waste or a shame. Like if I'm not going to do something like that I couldn't do normally otherwise, then what's the point of all this wealth and success anyway, right? If I can't enjoy it or do something, again, that ordinary people couldn't do, right? You want them to live the exact same ordinary life that you do, right? But even though they have all this extraordinary resources and stuff at their disposal, so it shows you the means are defining, right? It's like, it's not about a standard, it's about, oh, they have resources that you don't have, and that's what defines their ability or capability or opportunities, right? So that's one aspect of it. But yeah, like you want them to live your ordinary life even though they have all this resource, like, and if you had those resources you wouldn't live an ordinary life either, but you're just, so it's kind of a salty defense mechanism kind of thing. But the final point too is not only that. Again, it's when people are in positions like that, they feel like they can get away with anything, and they have like a lot of yes men around them, stuff like that. People who never question them or tell them they're wrong. Everybody trying to suck up to them and stuff like that, right? That ends up happening. That's part of my RBO protocol discussion too. But basically, what happens is the fact that you know, it's a position where you're basically able to, like, people feel like they can get away with anything there. Right, and they can do things that ordinary people can't do. So it's the means that are defining, kind of like the power corrupts thing. And it's kind of like, again, you feel sort of either entitled or you can get away with things that ordinary people can't get away with. It's the opportunity, it's the means. And again, there's the entitlement, and it feels like, oh, look how successful they are. That they almost feel like they deserve to be able to do things that other people can't do because of their success, because, oh, they're, yeah, sure, the ordinary person can't do this or condemn it, but if they're so exceptional, they think, and, you know, they're so successful that they feel like they almost deserve something special. And also, like, that's like an ability defining aspect too. Like, oh, if you're good enough to get away with it and they can't catch you, then you can do it, right? That's not even an opinionative thing. It's like an objective base. Like, that's the reality. If you can get away with it, then you can do it. So the reason why, oh, people aren't criminals or something is just because they're not smart enough, or they lack the willpower, the ability to do it, not because they're such good people or whatever. That's just what, again, people say to cope. Like, if you could steal $1 million and get away with it, right, people would do it, but they don't have the confidence. So it comes down to ability and means. Like, they don't have the confidence that they could do it. They'll pretend like they don't want to do it, but that's only because they're subject to an indoctrinated, structured, controlled basis where they assume, like, they're first of all accountable to social stigma, but second of all, they're accountable to all the structure and enforcement that would make them think like, well, it's going to be so difficult to do, that's not worth it. So really what you appeal to control people is the non-basic self, as I call it. They're not doing that, like where they would go and steal $1 million. They're not doing it. They're not doing it, right? Because, oh, they're a good person or something like that. The reason why they're not doing it is out of non-basic self, the same basis why they would do it. Why would they steal $1 million? Oh, for their own self-interest. Why would they not steal $1 million? It's not because, oh, they're a good person, gratified moral standard. It's because they're accountable to enforcement and indoctrination, social stigma. But also, they would not do it also for self-interest. You appeal to the same basis. And why? Because, oh, they're afraid of going to jail or having their life inconvenienced. So you're not appealing to some moral standards by saying, oh, don't do that because it's bad, right? That's the secondary layer that's used as, again, social engineering and stuff to reinforce. But the main base is enforcement, that, oh, you're subject to getting punished for it. So the only way to stop people from pursuing the non-base of self is also by appealing to the non-base of self, which is to say, the reason why you would do it is the same reason why you won't do it, is also self-interest, right? It's like, again, you're afraid of getting caught or punished for it. It's the same thing with the stimuli acme. The stimuli acme is such that, again, you might glorify it into something lofty or otherwise, but the reason why people do it is, again, inherent desired, suggested, hedonistic kind of tendency of, like, again, specifying the stimuli acme to one person, one partner, stuff like that, is the same basis at work. And so it's kind of glorified or gratified just to control it, but there's really no basis to it. And then even it's kind of like, you know, that reasoning is kind of flawed because it's the same reason why you would do it. It's kind of like, oh, you would risk your life for your partner because you love them and you care about them, but it's actually not, right? You could love or care about a person, you know, without that. Like think about the base of the strongest bonds. Oh, non-choice reaction of family, which you didn't choose your family. That's supposedly the strongest bond, right? Nearness postulate, non-invasive self. Or even the stimuli acme, like, oh, you'd risk your life for them and you love them. Oh, what's it based on? Your own inherent desire, suggested half of inherent, the hedonistic tendency, right? Your own pleasure, your own everything like that. If you took that away, right, dependent over extended pretense, if you took that away, sex or the prospect of sex or sexual stimulus, now, oh, you wouldn't care. So again, even that's a non-invasive self. You pretend like it's about them, but it's actually about you because, right, that process is being specified. That's why people are so insecure and possessive about it, right? Try to specify it to one person. If you take away that, your own pleasure and your own base, non-invasive self, all of that other stuff goes out the window. So it's still dependent on that. So that's what it's really about, right? So even when you supposedly care about somebody else, it's appealing to your own basis of self-interest. And so let me do a couple more of these, I guess. Yeah, that was just an interesting topic, but that's the deeper psychology of it. There's a certain entitlement to it. There's a certain feeling that people can get away with it, with whatever they want. There's the opportunity, there's the means, right? So that's the real thing, is like the non-accountability of, like, you know, it's impossible to convince people, you know, like, that point. But it's like, oh, it's human nature. So the same people condemning something, as much as I hate to observe this about human nature, but like, you would condemn something, but if you had the means and resources to do it, you very well likely might do it. In fact, even in your everyday life, you probably do things like that. Oh, you would never speed or break the law, but you probably do all the time if you feel like you can get away with it. So that's the problem with social engineering, right? It'll pretend on the surface level like, oh, of course we would never do that, but the only reason why is because you're accountable to enforcement or whatever, or you constantly try to do it and bypass and subvert it and take advantage at every turn if you can. So it comes down to your ability. So you'll pretend on the surface, oh, we would never do that. We're good people, blah, blah, blah. And then anytime you're not accountable, you would do it. So it's just a front that you're putting up, but it comes down to your means or ability to actually do it. All right, so let's go back. We'll do a couple more of these. I'm kind of trying to get some sort of interesting interaction. I'm not saying it's that good or I have to win everything, but you know what I mean? Like, either I want that win condition or I want like a really cool renounce, or again, the tog waggle. Those are like the three dynamics, right? You have the win condition with the Bone Lord, you have the renounce, you have the chess gimmick, which isn't really much of a thing, but like, it's not going to win you the game or be that interesting. But you also have the tog waggle thing, which has been pretty good because that kind of gives you the best chance actually practically of winning. Should I try to zerg them down with this? Or let's try a combo here. But no, that's the fun factor that people seem to miss in gaming that they don't get. They treat games sometimes like it's real life, like it's an ego thing, something to prove. That's what social contrivance sometimes does. Is it's like, what? Oh, I did it in the wrong order. Fuck me. But no, like they missed the fun factor of, like, you know, oh, I'm playing Magic for the first time and they want me to try hard and metagame. It's like, I just want to try out some of the cards, right? I've never played the game before. Why do I have to ruin my first experience by trying to be a metagame try hard? And then if I want to do that later, I can. But like, people ruin the experience of stuff by trying to impose that in a way that, you know, you treat it like a zero-sum process. Is about the end goal, but it's about the experience, right? The end goal doesn't matter. It's not real, right? It's just a game. Like, they try to turn it into some sort of ego esports type of thing, but it doesn't matter because, right, if you want to take it seriously like that, that'll be up to you. But the general purpose of it is, okay, you just want to experiment, you want to theory craft, you want to, you know, knowing is half the battle, you want to play it blind, make mistakes. You want to just do what you enjoy, right? Do your own style of play. Like there is no such thing that I mean, I gotta look how many neutral cards do we actually have, because renounce might be kind of useless here anyway. Right, it might not be as good as what I'm thinking, but no, what it means is basically that
Dream come true.
what it means is that you're basically looking at it like, I mean, there's no point in even doing this otherwise, but like again, people try to prove something to each other in like multiplayer stuff or whatever. It's a zero-sum process. I can understand that to some extent, but there's also like a other layer of like, you know, first and foremost, let somebody just enjoy the experience. Why did they let somebody just enjoy the experience? Of course, Mukla plus 2 imps is really the combo that's going to make you want to rage quit out, but just that somebody would have the audacity to make that move, right? Has that move ever been made in the history of Hearthstone? Mukla plus 2 0 cost desk imps plus 1 Silverhand recruit. That play, that might be the first time that's ever been done in Hearthstone, because why the fuck would anybody do it? Right? Like nobody's ever been able to do that, because it's just, first of all, you'd have to be a paladin hero power from, well, I guess you wouldn't have to be a warlock in the first place, but all right, so the one thing I'll say here, though, is the fact that basically, yeah, like the people turn it into an ego thing. It's a zero-sum process. Like I get it to some extent. The multiplayer pressure kind of ruins stuff in that way, because like, oh, people have real life and things to do, and so time becomes a constraint. So it's like you're pressured to do it the same way that you are in like society or zero-sum process, but that's not how it ought to be, where it's more immersive and free and fun and do it your way. So that's why I like 1v1 stuff instead of team-based stuff. Like, you don't want to feel like you're getting carried or whatever, wasting other people's time, but you don't want that to be a factor. And then the other thing is like the egotism, just of like, whether it be the social media culture now, or whether it be like, again, anything that's an online game. You know, you play Path of Exile for the first, like, that's why I want that to be emblematic, right? The Path of Exile community can be as stuck up or whatever as it wants, but you're projecting some intent that's not even there. So I'll hold that till the end of time, right? Where it's like, it doesn't matter is kind of the thing, right? They're projecting something. Somebody's playing the game for the first time, and they're bringing up all these build guides and do this and do that. Like, can't I just do it blind and just see what happens? Like, why is that not allowed, right? Sure, maybe I'll make mistakes. I'll do a suboptimal build. But first of all, you can typically beat most games or still do fine, even if you're not using the optimal build. But even if you are... Damn it. Right, it's like you want to come up with that yourself. You want to kind of experiment. Maybe you do certain things out of preference, not just out of some zero-sum efficiency. So, like, I don't know. The way that people treat that is kind of boring in a way, because seems a little iffy, but fucking imps, dude. Oh my god. But no, we don't have as many warlock cards as maybe you think, so that kind of poses a bit of a problem, because a lot of them are the neutral king and queen and knight stuff. So renounce arguably doesn't even work that well here, but no, what I really need to address is that point of like, again, like where is just the fun factor? Where is just, because again, there's like an ego thing, but the problem with that ego basis is basically like most of what people do doesn't prove anything anyway, right? Like you're just ordinary. Everybody who's talking trash even and stuff like that is like, it doesn't matter. They're all just ordinary people or somewhere in between, bottom feeder effect. If you're really like an esports pro or like some god gamer, world first clear type of thing, that would speak for itself, and you wouldn't feel the need to go to people's first playthrough of a game, you know, video, and try to show off. So it's like this weird middle ground of like, you're trying to prove something, but you're not really proving anything, because if you did, it would speak for itself. It's some high level thing, and you're also assuming the intent of somebody, like, oh, they want to do it in this exact maximal efficiency way, even though it's their first time playing the game. So like, where's the sense of wonder? Where's the sense of discovery? Where's the sense of experimentation? Where's the sense of trial and error? Like, none of those things matter to people, like, and that's fine if they don't matter, but like, you know, it's fine if that doesn't matter to you, but it's like, don't impose that on other people. Like, you know, again, like, oh, the reason why somebody would make a mistake when playing the game for the first time is because they're bad, and oh, people in hindsight bias or even otherwise would be like, oh, that makes them better than you, and haha, like, that's cool, like, that's fine if you want to feel like that, but, and people don't typically have that attitude as much in single player games, thankfully, but oh, because it's multiplayer, or because it has a multiplayer element, it's able to oh, what a bricked hand, dude. Oh my god. But those card draws, wow, those card draws actually worked out pretty well though. Oh, dude, what is this, dude? What is that sequence of, like, I have nothing, my hand's bricked, I draw a card, then he gives the perfect thing, then I have the inner rage, like, ah, yes, of course. He should have played around that, right? That means you can do it and then rush in the same turn, right? That's how good it is. Wait, isn't this a different one than the one that I... 510. I feel like there was another card like this that looks similar but doesn't have the same stats. Right, so now you could immediately... That's crazy, dude. Even though it seems like a waste, it's like... Alright, let's just go with that for the taunt. I mean, he's in top deck mode, so at least we have a chance here. But that was a very satisfying interaction. But no, it's again, that zero-sum process. So it's like, you can treat it like that if you want, and I'll even concede that. Like, okay, I tend to like to take my time. I tend to like to play things blind. I tend to like to experiment. So like, it does, to me, it doesn't prove anything, because there's two layers, right? There's the layer of, are you an esports player? Are you like a pro? Are you like a, you know, something like that, right? So if you're at that level, you wouldn't really feel the need. You don't have to, you know, make a big thing. Right, it would just speak for itself. And so it's kind of like, right, that's fine. I respect that esports players get respect. People who do world first clears, permadeath run, speed run, whatever, right? That speaks for itself, so I respect that. That's good. But there's that layer, so if you want to do that at the high level, do it and you'll get credit for it. Fine, good for you. But if you don't, then the other level is just random people just playing a game, and it doesn't prove anything anyway. So the meaning behind that is like, right, so either you're doing something that proves something, or nothing proves anything. So again, you're an esports player, you're world first clear something, you know, hard mode challenge, permadeath, speedrun, right? That would speak for itself. Everything else is just, oh, you're just a random person just playing the game. So why does it matter? Why do you have to impose the ego? And so it's like somebody playing the game for the first time blind. The thing is, it doesn't prove anything anyway. So they do it exactly the way that people want them to do it. But so what? It still doesn't prove anything. Here, let's have a little fun with him, because we don't win games often, so give him a chance, right? I'm like a Yu-Gi-Oh villain or something, like I'll toy with them and then I end up losing. But it's a situation where basically, you know, we've gone from a Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist, where I sometimes have those clutch moments, to a Yu-Gi-Oh villain now. Or there was one title I used, like I turned into a minor Yu-Gi-Oh antagonist, where like, I can't remember why I said that, but that was kind of a funny title.
Nazar versus Berash.
The beginning of the end. Our gifts are not your weapons, War Chief.
Oh shit, I like that. some of those specific interactions. But no, what happens is, again, that zero-sum process. If you think it proves something, that's fine, and you can feel good about it. I just don't see the meaning of that. Like, I could care less at that point. Again, if I wanted to do something high level, okay, I'll become an esports Path of Exile player if there's even that, or I'll try to do a world first clear speedrun or something, right? Eventually, if that was my intention, that's what I would do. The difference is, if you're playing the game for the first time, that's not the intention. If you're playing the game for the first time, you haven't even beaten it, haven't gotten to max level, right? At that point, why should you care? Nothing proves anything. It's just random, you know, you're just trying it out, right? You're just playing the game. So those are the two layers. If you want to do high-end top-level stuff, you can do it. That speaks for itself. And if you want to do something else, right? So that there's that buffer zone of, I almost need like a visual representation. Pretend like, okay, this line is the barrier. Above the line is the esports, world first clear, speedrun, that kind of stuff. Below the line is you're playing the game for the first time, so it doesn't matter. Nothing proves anything anyway. You could be bad, but who cares? It's a blind first playthrough. It doesn't prove anything. You could play it perfectly. Also doesn't really matter. It's just a blind, you know, blind first playthrough. It doesn't take that much to typically beat a game or just to, you know, beat the campaign or story or max level or something like that. So nothing proves anything anyway. It's just a zero-sum thing. Right? If you want to feel like that's something gratifying, that's fine. And then even at the mid-level is where you sort of get into some of the ego, like, oh, I'm better at being mediocre at this game than you because they played it longer, because they use borrowed knowledge, add-ons, they, you know, it's like their whole life, they base their ego around it. Right? Whereas to you, you're just trying it out for the first time. But even if they do that, they're not at the really top level, because if they were, then they wouldn't feel the need to be this bottom feeder kind of thing. So again, that's all I'm saying is it wouldn't be impressive anyway, right? But then people project that too. Oh, you're just saying that because, oh, you were bad or whatever. But I don't even consider it bad because, like, what is the goal in that, right? Like, if I'm doing a permadeath, that's the whole irony too. Like, of anybody who would be doing that, my run is still hardcore because like on one hand they'll bash me and say, oh, you suck and you're doing everything wrong. On the other hand, I'm doing a permadeath first playthrough of it and not dying. So like, and again, I only did the beginning area, but evidently that's not even fair to bring up because it's oh, you're only playing the beginning tutorial part of the game, but also everybody's losing their shit and losing their minds over how badly I'm supposedly doing everything, as if those things are important at that point, right? Like, oh, it's just the beginning, so like you don't deserve any credit for that, for not dying. Okay, but then evidently I do, because they're saying, oh, I'm doing this wrong and I'm missing this and I'm skipping this and I'm not reading this. So are those things really necessary at the early stage in the game? And obviously they're not, right? That you can do fine without it. So it's like, the problem being that you know, but this should be pretty good, the AoE. That's like the only AoE / healing that we're ever gonna get is like the armor of that. That's how pathetic it is. But it's a situation where basically, again, there's just no ego in that, and it doesn't matter. So you're taking the fun out of it. Right, like, what does it prove? Why does it matter? Pretend it's a single-player game. Would you be saying that in Ocarina of Time, like, oh, there's a speedrunner who beat the game and the amount of time it took you to beat the Deku Tree? Right, oh, haha, they're better than you, or hindsight. Like, but so what? Like, you're assuming that, again, any of it proves anything or it matters at that point. Again, a high-level thing notwithstanding, but it's, some of these effects are broken. Like, I don't even know what these cards really are. I don't pay attention, but they're spoiling StarCraft for me, which I've never played before. You might think it's a joke, but actually, I don't like stuff like that. That's why I didn't play Elder Scrolls Legends for so long. Yeah, she's a sadist. She enjoyed that. Masochist, I mean. But whoever she is. But, yeah, basically the point that I'm making with that is the fact that, again, it doesn't prove anything anyway. At the high level, it speaks for itself. Right, I can respect that, but there's different intentions. You're assuming intent. You wouldn't necessarily say that was a single-player game. It doesn't really matter. It wouldn't prove anything anyway. Right, like, it's just not... there really is no basis behind it. That's why it bothers me. Like, I don't really care, right? But you're looking at, that's what ruins stuff for people, is that they go into it with like this loaded thing. You're just looking at it the kind of a weird way, which you can do that too if you want, but that shows you you're not doing it pure. Like, either it's this culture that nobody plays anything blind anymore, or they have such a ex post facto justification, borrowed knowledge and stuff like that, right? Because like, oh, when they first played the game, they understood everything perfectly, but what they're talking about couldn't even apply to that, because the current state of the game is different than even when they first played it. So a lot of these mechanics and updates weren't even there. So how would you even know that? But again, you're assuming intent, like, oh, that somebody doesn't know how to do something, not that they don't care, or that they're, you know, they have a different intention. I don't know. That's why I like some of these things. It'll internalize that sort of thing. You might think, you know, the community thinks it's proving something, but it really isn't. Like, okay, so I suck at a game that I'm playing for the first time, even though I didn't die in it, even though it's a permadeath first way through, which is itself not really proving anything either, but like, that's more than what probably most people do with it. And it's a truly blind playthrough, which evidently nobody understands the concept of what that means. You know, because you're supposed to know all these things, but how would you know them? And even like reading stuff, I try to avoid reading too much even in the game, but you know, again, no sense of discovery, right? That's how people treat it, like it's a job, like it's work, like it's a zero-sum process. It's just about the end result. It's just about the goal, not about the experience, not about, again, trying to get immersed and figure things out. That's definitely a lost art. So, and again, I'm not imposing that, saying other people have to do it that way at all. I'm just more so disturbed that, like, that's the insane reaction that people have, where they're imposing upon someone, again, looking at something for the first time, exactly how they should do it, how they should approach it. They're doing everything wrong, right? Like, why is there an ego in that when nothing proves anything? It's all just arbitrary. Right, so by that logic, if I had done exactly what they said, then that's the most impressive thing ever. And wow, look at this dude crushing it on his first time ever playing Path of Exile blind in the tutorial area. Like, this dude's really, you know, that should have got 1 million views then and been like, just, man, most impressive video ever. Like, this is, apparently it is, because it's even more impressive that I did all those things wrong, but I still didn't die. And again, oh, it's just a tutorial, but that's what they're commenting on, is that, you know, since that's all I do there, evidently their criticisms are related to that too, because, okay, maybe I could figure all that stuff out later when it actually becomes relevant, or like, you know, when it might be necessary. Yeah, that 11 cost card is weird, the Ultra Sword thing. Okay, so this is a little bit annoying, but if he's gonna leave it around, I'm fine with that too. Like, why wouldn't he eventually try to kill it if he's just waiting around? Or he seems to like the effect of it, but I love cards like this though that are like really good value, like 1 mana 3/3. Well, maybe not by today's standards, but you know, with like even negative effects, like Yu-Gi-Oh, I would do that all the time. 4-star frenzy type thing, just high attack things that you can get out there easy, even if they come with a negative effect. Because in a weird way, that kind of acts as a defensive thing too, in that, like, oh, you summon 2000 attack Panther Warrior, and even though it can't attack without a tribute, it doesn't matter because they can't do anything to you, so it's effectively serving its purpose, right? You don't have to necessarily be using it to attack. Yeah, he seems to be a fan of leaving this thing around, which is fine with me. Right, it's not like I had some big plays coming anyway, like just a couple of random things. He just refuses to get rid of that. Like, he really thinks this effect is going to do me in. But until you actually do something about my board, I'm not gonna... It really doesn't matter to me. Like, bro is losing to Emerald Hive Queen in 2026.
We do what the living cannot.
Even that guy doesn't want it. Like, nobody wants a part. This thing will just survive the whole game. You just do the kingpin dude just for the sake of it. I don't need in any circumstance ever 2 of those because even if I do the combo, you only need 1, and so I just need the Bone Lord and Treachery, assuming that's what I want to do. The pace of this one's kind of a little better. We should actually see how far I can get with one of these, and if I got to start doing that. Sometimes I'll play kind of goofy just to mess around a little bit. I should try to win with this, which again, it's bad, but it has those moments. Anything like that, the Togwaggle and the King of Piracy, they're going to actually give you a legitimate chance to win, even against really good decks, because what it means is, I don't want to overcommit even, but I don't care. Because again, if you're switching their deck and their deck is really good in meta, then then you at least have a chance. Mirror matchup type of thing that comes down to luck, but
Behold the might of Stormwind.
yeah, now we're facing a deck that's really on our level here, but I still want to win with that win condition. But you know what? That's why I gotta stop being cute. Like, when we get the win, we should just take the win. Maybe kind of boring, but again, we're making the concession, so now I don't mind trying my hardest to necessarily do this. And it might seem like no accomplishment at bronze, but whatever. Like, these decks are obviously trash. But no, I want to see. I keep saying I want to see something. I want to see the thing. First of all, I want another golden renounce, but second of all, how many Warlock cards do I have? Let me count. 1. I don't know what this even counts as. Like, it's like every like 4 different classes, so maybe that counts. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe the other one of that, so 10, 11, 12, 13. So it's really kind of a weak renounce. Yeah, I'm not too big a fan of that. Like, in fact, having 2 of them is kind of silly, but no, that's one of the coolest interactions ever. So if you use, I got to start doing that, like Explore and Goro. So if I have a gold in Explore and Goro, that means that every card generated from it is also gold. But that's usually not true, or maybe it is. Then the 1-cost card that generates the card is also gold, and then what it generates is also gold. Like, is that how it works? And even like if I have gold in Malchezaar, does that mean that I have gold in Malchezaar, so does that mean everything created by Malchezaar is also gold? Or I've never really thought too much about that, but or even like Zenazari and stuff like that. That is so cool because it's transformative. Not only is it showing like, oh, that's a signature card that I like so much that that's why it's gold. It also means that, you know, it's transformative, that everything you get from it is going to be gold, which is just cool. Right, like that is an interesting interaction of how that works. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but it almost seems too good to be true. Because again, if all I'm doing is playing Renounce, I get to have a golden deck every time for free because, you know, all I have to do is make 1 gold card. It's sort of the same efficiency of like how much fun or how many different games and decks can you experience with 1 card that you make, like Whizbang or even like Renounce. You know, you can have infinite value from that potentially over time. This is a very good card, but you often don't get to really last long enough to do stuff like that. We have Treachery as well, and then we have
The light dims, but we fight.
So I could do this. Yeah, that's really going to be great synergy with the imps. Again, none of this stuff is really meant to be like that, but I won't even tap since I'm probably worried about the long term. But this card is a lifesaver because again, it's going to be the only AoE or the only healing, you know, armor thing that we have. So we have some of the combo cards. We just need the Bone Lord. It's just impossible to get that. Like I just like out of all these games, I never ever get the material. And even if I do get it, then I never get to play it. I'll lose before then, or right, the curve won't work out quite right. Because it is like a very dead slow turn play. Like I do the Bone Lord, then I do the treachery, then I do the thing. Like it ends up being all that for nothing on my side of the board. Unfortunately, we'll leave this thing around, but he's saying a pathetic play, but like we're the one who's moving. Where I bugged out the text on that. Look at that. Rare Hearthstone bug. Right, we somehow got it caught mid-animation. So it's a situation where we need the Bone Lord, or we need one of the transformative cards, King of Piracy, or the other dude.
Reporting for duty.
Yeah, that was quite a turnaround of a turn. I don't know. Oh, for some reason I thought. Well, it doesn't even matter, but I had some reason thought he was gonna summon something and then I could use that, but there is nothing. Some of these are just boring because you can't do anything. Like it doesn't matter, right? Like there's no interactivity that you can have. But then again, random cards are the most interactive that way because you never even know what you're gonna get. So, but you know, this isn't very random thus yet. You know, Renounce. Even if I had Renounce, there's nothing that would be affected by it. But yeah, this is like the thing where they did the legacy weapons or whatever, where like, oh, they have Ashbringer, so like everybody has Ashbringer, even a 1/1 silver hand recruit does. Or you got like those Legion artifact weapons, right, where everybody could have their own version of it, which is kind of dumb. This is taking something that should be earned or like is rare or a big deal and turning it into a inevitability. Everybody gets it, right? So it just shows you like the inconsistency of this. It can look good when it wins or something works out, but that is impossible to get in this. The actual Bone Lord, like you can't get it. I'm not even getting all those cards, and even if I did, again, I wouldn't last long enough to do it. So it's kind of problematic. But no, it's a situation where I basically should rely on Renounce or something.
I see you've brought guests.
Okay, so the problem is that, yeah, the win condition is in there somewhere, but it just doesn't come about. So again, I got this first, so I should just do this on turn 7. That's all there is. Like, and then I'll have a better chance, I guess, with that. Like, it's just stupid. You're never gonna get what you really need. It's impossible, man. Everybody seems to like leaving this round because it seems like, oh, it's stifling my ability to do stuff, but it really didn't. I mean, okay, I could have done this. I think that's really a big deal. Like, just one time, can't I get it on like a curve thing? I mean, it would take till turn 9 anyway, but right, this is really what we were waiting for. Now, what could I have done? I could have done the Black Knight instead. The next turn I could do still nothing. Right, so it really doesn't hurt me that much because this doesn't have a lot of low cost, low curve stuff. But no, my Renounced Gimmick deck was kind of evil because there's nothing between like 2 and 5 besides the one thing, so it's kind of like the design of that is such that you have it kind of forces you almost to play Renounced. Right, if you don't get it too, you're screwed. So it's kind of like this should be like my favorite card ever because it's both a chess reference but also it's like Pit Lord basically. What is even the difference in Pit Lord and this? Isn't it exactly the same? 5 because they buff Pit Lord. So instead of attacking my hero, it just I don't know. That just does damage to your hero instead of counting it as an attack, if that's somehow relevant for something. But you do this and then okay, then finally you get a good use of this. And I still don't necessarily have to let this guy go. The stupid actual good value interaction, but it's not like taunts are uncommon such that that should be a big deal, but I usually don't get that. You could theoretically get the value from that, but I don't have that many spells either. Like, why does everybody refuse to get rid of this? I mean, he's in a little bit of trouble now, especially if I get some of my other cards, but you know, Bone Lord and Treachery, and then I could easily kill it with what I have, so that's not the issue. But you just do this, or I won't want to do Ajara because she's maybe hold out for the spells, but I don't really care. But even this waste of an AoE. Yeah, that's not too big of a deal.
Time waits for no one.
Look at the effect on that by today's standard. Like, what a joke. Yeah, we almost just should do that because it seems dumb, but it's going to give us the best chance. Like, there's no reason to. But then again, we're in such a comfortable board position as like this is where I sometimes mess up. Like, I should just do it because whatever I was gonna do anyway, like, we've had our chance to do it. We didn't get the combo card, we didn't get anything, so we may as well just do it because his deck's gonna be better than mine 100%. So I love that. We'll end up winning despite it. Now we have a legitimate chance because we have a decent board and we have whatever garbage he's doing. Yes, he has the tier, but it's kind of like not the end all be all here. I mean, if you let that stick around, we could do that +2/+4. That's pretty good. Damn. He just did that like it's the old scarab thing. Right, where a match is like what I have. So what you can do is you could easily do... I could do this, but it almost... I guess it does kind of mathematically add up. Because you can use the ones to do something here. That kind of worked out pretty well mathematically. So the thing is that, again, now we're gonna use his own "you dare use my own spells against me" Potter meme type moment. But no, it's kind of like what you can do is you can basically understand that. Again, we're a decent board position. Unfortunately, we're gonna burn whatever we get, but this is one of the things I use in my elusive AoE buff druid thing. What the fuck? Okay. I have not seen that before, I guess. Swap attack with another minion, okay. That could be kind of good.
How to toy with them.
I don't know. Not quite getting what I should be doing here. Or even here, I'm going to brick my hand again, which is a mistake given that I'm kind of relying on his cards. You know what these cards honestly feel like? Even some of the Ysera Dream cards maybe originally would have felt like that. These feel like boss villain type cards from like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where like, oh, this is like a card Darts would have, or somebody, you know, that like they'd be so impactful and like so broken, but they would just have them as like normal cards in their deck. What the heck is going on? I mean, we could do that. I mean, as if there'd be something else I'd want to do first. But so let's just do it. Again, we have plenty of cards in there, so it's not even an issue. And so now we can just do... But I don't want to just do Blood Queen because she's useless. But also damages minions to whoever attacks. Right, like she's just garbage. And it's only in there because she's a queen, because she's here for status only, because she's a figurehead monarch like in certain countries now today. But no, it's like I don't know. We're not getting what we need from his deck to do something impactful. Or of course he has those two now. Or like, I don't think I've ever used that Death Knight hero card either. The whatever it is, they added one, Headless Horseman or something. Oh my fuck. You know, I would need one of his cards too. Summon a 5/5 Ancient One Taunt, that might actually help. Most of this is not going to... That kind of play is just like, what the fuck, man?
Witness the heart of this land.
Again, I'll use his own deck against him. Otherwise, I really had no way of dealing with that. I mean, I hope he can't do something, but... That board is just nasty, man. I don't have quite what I need here because... Or why am I even getting extra mana here? I forget. We're role-playing as Druid, but... Or it's going to be something that he did that applies to both players, I guess. Okay, he traded in pretty well, but
Time waits for no one.
this one I don't really want to do because then it's summoning something extra. Or he would have just had lethal then if like what could I possibly get here that 2 random dragons that cost 5 or less, 2 that cost 5 or more. Yeah, how about we get one that's Deathwing and we can imagine we actually do that. We could get Deathwing because we actually could have. Right, and we would have had enough mana for it. One of the truly great interactions of all time. We could get Ajara's shit because... Which I don't think would immediately save me, but... Is he gonna have like some sort of rushes or taunts or what? No, oh fuck. I don't know what's even going on, but sometimes I always do that where I'll click something too fast on the first one.
Warriors of the frozen wastes.
Okay, hard stuck yet whatever that thing's called, rank 7. Like what is that actual card name? One of the ones that you use in the Karnasa deck, 1 cost. Alright, let's do a couple more. I was trying to do a finale for this one and then actually try to mess around some of the other gimmicks, but it's like I was trying to like remake some of the other ones, especially the Paladin and the Hunter I wasn't too happy about. I guess like what would be my plan for them? Okay, for the Hunter I could make it all 1 cost cards only and not do all the other, like it's Karnasa but it's hard Karnasa. Or the Paladin, I don't even know what I would do. Like, you know, should I even worry about anything else or should I just do Renounce? Yeah, there's only like 13 cards in here that are gonna be Warlock cards anyway. But yeah, that, or I could try to make one for Rogue or for like those two just kind of ruin it because they're just not fun, right? The Hunter and the like Rexar. Like, how do you build around the Rexar hero? Because oh, that's the most fun card, but it doesn't matter because right, it's just a standalone thing. But that should be like the highest cost card in that deck. There should be all 1 cost, all Karnasa related stuff, and then
Reporting for duty.
yeah, we haven't gotten that Bone Lord interaction that I just want at least once. Like this kind of like today at least. not even winning with it. We're not even getting every single thing in our hand that we need for it.
Light dim.
And maybe I should start mulliganing for it, but I don't really want to do that either. But that's how much of a purist I am and stuff. Like, I'm afraid of getting spoiled on something like, oh, I have never played StarCraft before. Like, maybe briefly when I was a kid, but like I didn't actually play it like I did the first level or something. But so I'm worried about getting spoiled on that from this. Like, the same way, again, Elder Scrolls Legends, it might seem dumb, but like any little reference or piece of information is like, you know, still very relevant to me that way. So it's safe to say that I'm not going to get the combo or anything, and that didn't do shit for me either. Right, like, it makes no sense because, man, why is this doing so bad? Like, it's a bad deck, I get it, but it's not this bad. Like, I'm not getting the right sequence of anything ever with this, man. Of course, this should be one of my favorite cards, the whole elusive thing. I gotta look at some of the other classes. Maybe that should be my format. Like, if I do gimmick decks, like every single class with every elusive minion, but then it won't matter because there's no removal anyway. That's kind of the problem with those gimmick decks when they face each other. It's like, oh, some of them are, you know, some of them are elusive and all that, right? But it doesn't matter because there's not many spells in those decks, so it doesn't even really counter anything, right? So the elusive thing isn't felt quite as much there. But no, like every class could have its own elusive, you know, every elusive thing. But the problem is there's just not enough elusive minions in the game even still, right? Druid has really the best draw of them. Some classes have like only one or maybe even zero still, which is kind of hard to believe, but fuck me. This is cute, but I won't actually be able to play it then.
We have plotted long enough. Now we run.
Or maybe I will. After you cast a spell, okay, shuffle 5 random spells. Draw 2 cards. I don't know.
Job done. Glorious and terrible.
Like, let me look through that in a second. I'll look through all the elusive minions for other classes. Or not even just minions, it's anything that mentions elusive.
The multitudes cry out.
Okay, why are you taking so long? These bots get, yeah, weirder every day, but I mean, I'm losing to them for what it's worth. But it's a situation where, okay, let me look at this here. Elusive. So again, you're trying to tell me, like, how does that even make sense? That's just bad design, stupid design. Is this one of the mechanics of the Death Knight? Like, oh, you know, you have to, didn't it just cost 4 when I played it? Like, that's generated from the Lich King. Maybe those are different somehow. But like anti-magic shell and all this kind of stuff from WoW, you would expect they would have at least one elusive minion ever in the history of the game, but they don't. It just doesn't make sense. And then again, druids have a great draw of them, right? They have a whole page of them. I can accept that. Elusive, a bunch of other effects. I'm pretty happy with that because some copies of this card are temporary. Well, obviously I don't care on here, but so druid has a good pick of them. Again, Death Knight has 0. Demon Hunter has 0. Ray won't even show up that it mentions that. Like, who else has none? Rogue, I guess. Like, how is that possible in the whole history of the game? It shows you what a neglected mechanic it was. It goes, oh, it's my favorite mechanic. And before Galakron came out, there were hardly any elusive minions in the game. And then Galakron gave you quite a few So this is 1 mana 2/2 with elusive, which is kind of cute. So this is a new one actually from Cataclysm. Which that would actually fit with Incarnasa too. So I mean that, you know, 1 cost. This has been there for a long time. That was like the only one they had. This is recent as well. So like before the last couple expansions, there was only the one. So I'm gonna copy. I guess that's all right, but mage, even though I do build that mage elusive deck, it's really more about the secrets and other things. And again, these are both relatively recent, right? Or so you would have really only had this, which itself isn't even elusive. So I mean, this is really kind of pathetic. This only has 1, which is new. Like, so really it has 0. Colossal, Taunt, Elusive, Lifesteal, Divine Shield. Wait, what? This is like some sort of boss monster type BS that you'd get in like an anime. Remove Elusive. The fuck? So again, some of these are even recent, right? Or literally from this expansion. Give it elusive. Give it elusive. This is naturally elusive, which is again somewhat recent. Whizbang. Summon Death Rattle, summon something with elusive. It just shows you how neglected this mechanic is. After you cast a spell, discover a nature spell from past. After you cast a spell, discover nature spell. So this is from Across the Time Ways. Like, look at this, man. I'm even mocking it like, oh, they finally have some, but these are both from recent expansions. Like, so historically, they've been very few. Seems like Whizbang's Workshop actually gave quite a few of them. It's like a mechanic that they just forget about sometimes. Right, which in some ways I like that, but it's just... Now imagine if I could make a deck with all of those cards combined, all the class cards combined. Right, that would be kind of fun, and it wouldn't even be that good, but... This is Emerald Dream, Peril's Paradise, Boomsday, March of the Lich King. Or like, let's just look at some of their... like what in elusive here we saw this. What was modified about it? It was like a 6/9. Is that because it would be kind of too I can't believe that would actually be considered too strong. Really, was that really necessary? I think it was a 6/9, or is it because of the 6/9 meme? But that shouldn't be relevant. Across the Time Ways, okay. Again, 2 out of like the 3 cards that they have there. So that's even a mockery that they're so recent. So this one came with what? Elusive at the end of your turn, give your other minions +1/+1, which this combines the AoE buff thing that I was just talking about, of like the premise of why I even did elusive stuff with Druid in the first place before they even had all these elusive minions, because you had all these stupid AoE buff things like the whatever Pride of the Wild and all these stupid AoE buffs that you could buff elusive stuff with. So that performs both, that it's elusive itself, but also it's going to provide the buffs. This is pretty cool. It's a low cost thing. Incarnasa even friendly. This is obviously, it's kind of bugging out a little bit. Second bug we've seen today. Shatter, give elusive, someone to copy. Wait, I thought that, for some reason I thought that was already a card. But these are all obviously from right now. Elusive, transform the minion to kill this into a faceless replicator. Elusive taunt, each turn is in your hand, swap between 2 random bonus effects. I mean, those should almost fit in almost any of them then, because I try to always stay true to that, right? Like anytime there's a new elusive minion, you just add it into those decks. But it's actually going to get to the point where now there are too many. Right, even neutral ones, but Yeah, it was for the longest time a neglected mechanic. There were very few cards in the game with it all the way until Galakron, and yet I still made kind of a deck based around it. And then there was never a keyword for it until like last year, a couple years ago. And then even now it's something that they kind of forget about. But by that basis, again, Galakron should almost be my favorite expansion, not because of Galakron himself as the hero and stuff, but because of the dude. Because of the dude, or I mean, because of the elusive stuff that it gives you, right? There were quite a few elusive minions that came with it. Okay, let's try to actually make something happen here, but I don't think it's gonna work. They just need to play kind of slowly so I can take advantage of this. This is get 3 random spells from the past. When you play all 3, you get another one. What a great mechanic, man. Some of these things are so stupid. You're getting an infinite value type loop on turn 3. Because at that point, it's like, it doesn't matter what those even are, right? You just get infinite value. You just keep spamming them. But man, that win condition is impossible to get, though. But yeah, that was a very creative idea, like the chess-inspired deck that we have here. I wonder how that game's doing. PvZ Heroes, as I keep mentioning it with the Night of the Living Dead, it's living rent-free in my head just because that's a similar analogy of like when you generate cards, you should be able to get those. These heroes. I think it's still not offline or anything, but or you know, you can always see that on Wikipedia. It'll say is Plants vs Zombies Heroes is blank versus was, right? Meaning it would have gone offline. Let me see on Twitch if anybody's doing it. This is one of the funniest categories ever too. It'll either be an empty category or I was almost gonna do a series of it on my phone. I wouldn't mind like restarting, but it's kind of tedious in a way that I would have to redo my collection and stuff. Okay, so those bananas are a miss, but I don't know. People let their hand get full more often than I give them credit for, because I didn't even expecting with the dude with the whatever, the ransom card that you like they'll never have 10 cards, but they often do. This is going to be okay, this is getting a little boring just because people are taking so long and they seem like they're bots anyway or something, but like this should be very straightforward. I mean,
Time runs out on me.
but those would be the two decks that I was trying to tweak, but then I got distracted by this, so that's fine. But the Hunter one could be turned into a one cost only thing, and the Paladin one I have no idea actually what to do with it. Like, that shows you how much I've struggled to make the Paladin relevant. Actually, is the fact that originally, I would have done a gimmick deck that isn't considered a gimmick deck, the Uther, you know, Exodia, if you want to call it that. But that goes against what a gimmick is about, because that has too much of a straight win condition auto win thing. Like, it's one thing, okay, you have a general goal, but that's 2-4. That's the opposite of a gimmick, because that's, you know, a forced win type of thing, instead of a gimmick is like where you build around something super hard without any real clear win condition or rhyme or reason. It's just more like, okay, you like elusive, so you just want to play everything with elusive. Like, so that doesn't guarantee that you're going to win the game or not. Why are they so slow, man? Like, what are you doing? Okay, good, good. Literally getting farmed at bronze rank, but look, we're not getting the win condition. Renounced Darkness kind of sucks. Like, we're not getting kind of anything fun with us. And there's not enough chest inspired cards to meaningfully enjoy that either, because I guess I could put 2 copies of some of them, but no, I do want to see this Bone Lord thing at least once, but it's just not happening. It shouldn't be that hard to just randomly get those cards in your hand. I mean, but then it takes so long to finally do it too. Yeah, the 2 honest best cards would be again, Togwaggle and the King of Piracy, because they're basically, you know, okay, just let me farm stars. I don't know why people are doing that, but the thing is that obviously, I don't know, like some of the quality wins with this could come from, again, some of those cards I mentioned, like the Togwaggle or the King of Piracy. Renowned seems a little bit overrated here, honestly. See, that's 2 out of them. Like, that's actually 3 combo cards. And now I would just need the Bone Lord, but there's no point in even doing that. Right, you'd rather mulligan for it. That's so annoying, man. I'm just never getting it. This seems to be my opponent's favorite cards always, because they never kill them. Okay, so the thing is, we wouldn't want to do Renounce yet, even if we were inclined to, because we want to stack up more cards in my hand.
Must have said.
Is close at hand.
This isn't right.
Okay, so the thing is that let's see what we get. Gigantify, lifesteal, draw a minion, 5 or more. Minion +3, +1 taunt, cost 0. Over 10 cost from the past, that's cost to 1. Finale. For each of your mana crystals. Oh, come on, that was useless compared to. Could go into that, but then I won't be able to still do it, so it seems like a waste. I draw a minion. Okay, so you have a minion +2, so, or summon a 2/2 Tran. What the fuck? That's kind of a clutch way to get into the coin. Okay, what can I use? Everybody has a spell. Oh god. Alright, we can still do that. Colossal. Alright, then. Your weapon, beast.
Is close at hand.
before your queen.
It's not a bad board, but all right.
close at hand.
I'll take the anchor.
Damn it, I'm just tired. But that's how some people actually stream, especially with low viewers. They'll be like, they won't say anything until somebody's in there. Then they're like rely on chat or whatever. That's kind of a bad philosophy because like you should do it like it's a let's play, and then if people show up or whatever, then fine. But you know, you're not relying on it necessarily. Might be overcommitting, but there's not really anything to overcommit for. Yeah, do it like a running commentary. If you build it, they will come type of thing. Do it for the enjoyment of doing it. Okay, I'm done. But yeah, we didn't get the kind of quality exciting wins that I wanted, especially with the Bone Lord. I don't know why that's so hard to get on its own.